Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching and please like and subscribe. Dust floated in the weak gravity as Evan Cole, a human engineer, stepped into the wide stone chamber. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the walls. Everything felt cold, but the air buzzed with hidden energy. Evan didn't understand the symbols, but he could tell one thing. This place was not dead. It was sleeping. Behind him, armored footsteps echoed sharply. Commander Rika, a tall Zytherian warrior woman with dark violet skin and bright silver eyes, followed him with a hard expression. Her armor shimmered with tribal markings, and her long braided hair swayed like a warning. She was the team's protector. But she was also the biggest reason Evan felt nervous. Rika never smiled, she never relaxed, and she definitely never liked humans. Evan crouched near a circular pedestal in the center of the chamber. A crystal object sat on top, clear, humming, alive. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat, as if watching him. Rika's voice cut through the tension. "Human, do not touch that." Her tone was sharp enough to make Evan freeze. He lifted his hands in surrender. "I'm just looking," he said calmly. Rika stepped closer, her eyes narrowing. "This relic belongs to my ancestors. It is forbidden even for my own soldiers. It was made by the first clans, long before your species learned to walk upright. One mistake here could kill you." Evan swallowed. She had a way of making simple warnings sound like near-death predictions. But the humming crystal fascinated him. It responded to his presence, glowing brighter when he moved closer, dimming when he backed away. As an engineer, he couldn't ignore technology behaving like that. But he remembered her words, "Do not touch." So, he only leaned in a little to inspect the symbols carved beneath it. Suddenly, the crystal brightened. The pedestal vibrated. A thin beam of light shot upward like a silent alarm. And Rika shouted, "Evan, don't touch it, step away." But her warning came a second too late. A faint pulse rippled across the pedestal. Evan instinctively reached out to steady himself. And the moment his fingers brushed the crystal, the entire chamber lit up. Stone walls shook like they were waking from centuries of sleep. Symbols burned bright blue. A shockwave rushed through the floor. Evan stumbled back, gasping. The crystal flared with spiraling patterns, none of which matched human math or logic. Rika's face twisted into pure horror. Not anger, not annoyance, genuine, bone-deep horror. She grabbed Evan's arm. "What have you done?" I didn't mean, it was an accident." The crystal projected two glowing symbols into the air, two shaped like icons, rotating slowly. One resembled Rika's clan marking, a spiraling blade shape. The other symbol adjusted itself, and then took the shape of Evan's handprint. Rika's voice dropped to a whisper that sounded terrified. No, this cannot be happening." Evan blinked. "What does it mean?" The symbols merged, forming a single glowing pair. The light shot down and marked both of their skin, Evan's right palm and Rika's left forearm, burning in a circle that glowed like living fire. Evan yelped, Hey, it's burning." Rika pressed her hand to her forehead, shaking her head. Her voice cracked with anger and disbelief. "You activated a clan bond relic." Evan stared at her. What?" Rika backed away from him like he had turned into a bomb. "If the relic linked us, it means you were chosen as my life bond partner." Evan choked. "Partner? Like, working partner or, no?" Her eyes burned into him. "Like mate." The silence that followed hit harder than the shockwave. Evan's brain stopped. The world stopped. Even the dust motes in the chamber seemed to freeze. "Mate?" he said weakly. "Do not make me repeat myself," she growled. Evan's face turned red. "I didn't touch it on purpose. I just fell into it. I told you not to touch anything." She snapped. The glowing mark on her arm pulsed once. The matching glow on Evan's palm pulsed in response. Their lights synchronized like a heartbeat. Rika looked at him with a mixture of fury and dread. "You do not understand what you have done. My people will not accept this. You are not Zytherian. You are not a warrior. You are—" She stopped herself, but her expression said the rest. "You are weak." Evan's jaw tightened. "I didn't ask for this either, you know." Before Rika could respond, more Zytherian soldiers entered. They stopped the moment they saw the marks. Their eyes widened. Their hands went to their weapons. One soldier whispered, "The relic chose a human." Another murmured, "Impossible. The relic has never chosen outside the clans." Rika tried to regain control. Everyone stay calm. The relic made a mistake. But relics do not make mistakes, another soldier argued. Rika's jaw clenched. She looked like she wanted to smash the crystal into dust. Evan felt a sinking feeling in his chest. He didn't want a deadly alien warrior to be angry with him, but he also didn't want to die because of some ancient glowing rock. The chamber suddenly went silent. A low growl echoed through the darkness behind them. Rika whipped around, weapons ready. Evan looked into the shadows, and his blood turned cold. A creature stepped out of the cracked stone wall. Tall, crooked, with bone-like armor and glowing red eyes. It was like a nightmare born from the ruins. Rika snarled. A guardian beast, woken from the relic's activation. The creature lunged. Rika shoved Evan behind her. You stay behind me, human. She ignited her plasma blade, its purple energy humming. Her eyes flashed with battle focus. The beast roared, its claws scraping sparks off the stone floor. Rika charged, her blade slashing in wide arcs. The creature dodged easily, swinging its massive arm toward her. The impact shook the chamber. Rika rolled back but regained her footing instantly. Her soldiers opened fire, but their shots bounced off the creature's armored hide. Evan watched with fear. He wanted to help, but he was an engineer, not a soldier. The beast turned toward him. Its red eyes locked onto the glowing mark on his hand. It roared louder, almost furious. Rika shouted, "Evan, move." She leapt between him and the monster, blocking a deadly strike. The claws scraped against her armor, leaving a deep gash. "Rika, you're hurt." "Silence. The bond is making it target you." "The bond? Why?" Rika gritted her teeth. "Because if you die, the bond breaks. And when a bond breaks, the other partner dies as well." Evan's heart stopped. "You mean, if I die, you die?" "Yes," she yelled as she blocked another blow. "Which is why you must stay alive." Evan ducked as the beast slammed into the wall behind him, cracking ancient stone like paper. Dust fell everywhere. The whole room trembled. Rika moved with speed and grace Evan had never seen. But even she struggled. The beast was powerful, fast, and enraged. "Fall back," a Zytherian soldier called. "No," Rika shouted. "If the beast escapes this chamber, the whole moon is endangered." Evan looked around desperately for something, anything, that could help. His eyes fell on a glowing panel on the pedestal. It flickered, showing patterns that looked like weak spots. He yelled, "Rika, it's armor plates on the left shoulder. There's a seam. Aim there." She snapped her head toward him. "How do you know that?" I don't know. I just saw it." The bond mark on his palm vibrated softly, as if guiding him. Rika gritted her teeth, but she trusted him. She dashed toward the beast and struck where Evan pointed. The creature screamed, stumbling back as green blood spilled from the crack. The soldiers renewed their fire, targeting the wound. The beast roared, swiping wildly, furious now. Rika yelled at Evan, "Keep observing. If the bond gave you insight, use it." Evan nodded, adrenaline rushing through him. He scanned the creature again. Another vision flashed. Hard to understand, but clear enough. "The underbelly," he shouted. "When it raises its arms, the plates separate." Rika moved before he finished speaking. She slid under the beast as it lunged and drove her plasma blade upward. The creature shrieked, collapsing in a burst of green smoke. Silence fell. Only Evan's heartbeat filled his ears. Rika stood slowly, breathing hard. Her armor was dented, her braid torn, but she was alive. She turned to Evan, not with anger this time, but with something stranger. Fear. Not fear of him, fear of what the bond meant. The soldiers looked between their commander and Evan with uncertainty. One whispered, "The bond is real. The relic has spoken." Rika's jaw tightened. She walked toward Evan, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "Listen carefully," she said, her voice low and sharp. "You must not touch anything else in these ruins. You must not wander alone. And you must stay close to me at all times." Evan nodded slowly. "Because of the bond?" "Because if you die," she said, her voice darkening, "I die." She grabbed his wrist and pulled him toward the exit. "Commander," one soldier asked, "what will we tell the council?" Rika didn't look back. "Tell them the truth." "And the human?" another asked. Rika tightened her grip on Evan. "The human stays with me. Until we undo this. Or until we understand why the relic chose him." The chamber lights flickered ominously behind them. Evan glanced back at the crystal, still glowing softly, like it was watching. He had no idea what he had started. But one thing was certain. Commander Rika, proud, fierce, cold, was now bound to him. And she looked like she hated that more than any monster they had fought. The ruins rumbled as they exited. Far behind them, deep in the shadows, something else shifted, another guardian waking from its long sleep. The stone doorway hissed shut behind them, closing off the ruined chamber. Dust drifted down from the ceiling as Evan and Commander Rika stepped into the cold metallic corridor of the Zytherian dig site. The lights flickered dimly, reacting to the tremor that still echoed through the ancient structure. Evan's heart was pounding, not only because of the guardian beast, not only because he had nearly died, but because of the glowing mark on his palm. It pulsed faintly in rhythm with Rika's mark on her arm. He wasn't sure how he felt about that. Rika walked ahead, her long strides sharp and controlled. But Evan could tell she was tense. Her shoulders were stiff, and her silver eyes kept scanning every shadow. She wasn't afraid of enemies, she was afraid of something else. Afraid of what the bond meant. Evan hurried to catch up. "Where are we going?" "To the surface," she replied. "The council must be informed." "Are they friendly?" he asked hopefully. Rika stopped suddenly and turned. The torchlights reflected on her stern face. "No," she said honestly. "Not when it comes to matters of the bond. And especially not when a human is involved." Evan swallowed hard. That was not the answer he wanted. They continued walking through the long hall. Zytherian soldiers joined them, some whispering, some staring at Evan as if he were a dangerous relic himself. As they reached the elevator platform, a soldier stepped forward. "Commander, should we restrain the human?" he asked. Rika's glare froze the air. "You will restrain no one," she snapped. "He stays with me." Her tone left no room for argument. The soldiers stepped back. Evan whispered, "Thanks." "Do not thank me," Rika muttered. "If you die, I die. That is the only reason I protect you." Evan sighed. He wished she would stop reminding him of that. The ascent to the warship. The elevator rose through layers of rock until finally the ceiling opened to the surface. A dark sky filled with stars and the massive shape of a Zytherian warship hovering overhead. A beam of light pulled them up into the ship's docking bay. Evan had seen images of Zytherian ships, but this was different. The interior was huge, metallic, organized, and filled with alien soldiers sparring, loading weapons, and training. Every one of them stopped to stare as Evan and Rika walked by with matching glowing marks. Their whispers carried through the hall. "The relic chose a human? How is that possible? What if he's dangerous? What does this mean for the clans?" Evan felt their eyes burn into him. He felt small. Rika noticed his discomfort but said nothing. She led him into the council chamber, a large circular room with 5 tall Zytherian figures wearing robes and armor. Their eyes glowed in different shades, showing their ranks. The center counselor, Elder Vraxia, spoke first. "Commander Rika, report." Rika gave a full account. How the relic activated, how the Guardian attacked, how Evan saw visions, how the marks linked. The council listened silently. When she finished, Elder Vraxia turned to Evan. "Human," he said, "do you understand the meaning of the bond mark on your hand?" Evan shook his head. "Not really. It is an ancient life connection," Vraxia explained. "It links 2 warriors who must face a future danger together. Their lives intertwine. Their fates cannot be separated." Another counselor spoke, her voice sharp. "And such a bond has never chosen someone outside the clans. Especially not a human." Evan felt heat rise in his face. "I didn't choose it either." Rika crossed her arms. "The relic made this decision. Not us." But the council did not look pleased. Elder Vraxia continued. "The bond also carries a traditional meaning. Those chosen are life partners. Mates, in your tongue." Evan felt Rika stiffen beside him. The counselor's next words hit like a shock. "And you, Huma, have been chosen as Commander Rika's mate." Rika's voice erupted like a blade striking metal. "I did not accept this." Her shout echoed across the chamber. "You cannot deny a relic's choice," the counselor replied calmly. Rika's fists clenched. "I will not have my future decided by an ancient stone." The counselors remained silent, their eyes glowing calmly, as if already knowing the outcome. Evan raised a hand slowly. "So, what happens now?" Elder Vraxia spoke softly. "You must remain together. The bond requires proximity. And when the danger foretold by the relic arrives, you must face it as one." Evan felt the air grow colder. "Danger? What danger?" Before he could ask, alarms blasted through the ship. Beep, beep. A voice echoed through the speakers. Enemy vessels approaching. Unknown origin. Rika's expression shifted instantly, from anger to battle focus. The relic's warning, she whispered. Evan felt a vibration in his palm. The mark glowed brighter, hotter, almost alive. The enemy attacked. The ship shook as explosions rocked the hull. Rika grabbed Evan's wrist. Stay with me. They ran out of the chamber and into the war corridors, soldiers sprinting around them. The ship trembled again as enemy fire hit the shields. Evan gasped. Who's attacking us? A faction we fought centuries ago, Rika said. A clan that believes the relics should stay buried, and will kill anyone touched by them. Great, so they want me dead too, Evan muttered. Especially you, Rika said flatly. They reached the armory. Rika tossed him a small shield generator. Press the button. Stay behind cover. Do not try to be a hero. Understood. She activated her blade and charged onto the battlefield. Evan followed, staying behind her but scanning the area like the bond pushed him to. Enemy soldiers, tall insect-like aliens, stormed through broken doors. Their claws scraped the metal floor, and their glowing eyes flicked toward the bond marks. There, one hissed. The chosen pair. They rushed toward Evan. Rika roared and intercepted them, moving with deadly speed. Her blade sliced through the enemies in arcs of purple light. Evan saw another door explode behind her. Rika, behind you. She spun instantly, blocking a claw strike that would have taken her head. She glanced at him only for a moment. Good. Keep watching. More enemies swarmed. The air filled with plasma blasts, sparks, and screams. Evan ducked behind a console but kept shouting warnings as he sensed openings. Left side. Above you. They're flanking. Rika followed each call. Each time, she struck faster than the enemies expected. The bond mark on her arm glowed brighter with each coordinated move. At one point, an enemy creature lunged at Evan directly. He tried to activate his shield, but it jammed. The monster raised its claw. Rika blurred into motion, tackling Evan to the ground as the claw slammed into the wall. She pinned the creature and stabbed through its chest. Evan stared up at her, breathing hard, shaken. You, she said softly, must stay alive. Are you worried about me? He asked weakly. Rika paused, then growled. I am worried about me. If you die, I die. But her grip on him did not loosen for a long moment. The heart of the attack. The ship shook again, harder. A blast tore open a hole in the corridor. Air rushed out, dragging debris and enemies into space. Rika pulled Evan into a side hall just before the vacuum shields activated. Evan, she said, stay behind me. We are going to the core chamber. That is where they will aim next. Why there? Because they know the relic bond is formed. Killing us both ends the prophecy. Evan felt a chill. Prophecy? No one said anything about that. But there was no time to ask. They ran through smoke-filled corridors until reaching the central chamber, where the ship's power core pulsed like a giant blue heart. Enemy elites stood waiting. One pointed at Evan. Destroy the human. The bond dies. Rika stepped in front of him, blade raised, eyes furious. You will not touch him. The enemies laughed. You defend him? A weak off-worlder? Rika hissed. He is chosen. He is mine. Her voice echoed through the chamber with a force even Evan didn't expect. The enemies charged. Rika fought like a storm, cutting through them with rage and skill. But even she began to tire. More kept coming. Evan searched the room desperately, feeling the mark pulse. A vision flashed again, like before in the ruins. The enemies had a weak point. Their energy cores were exposed when they raised their blades. Rika, he shouted. Their chest. When they lift their arms. Aim there. She trusted his words instantly. Her strikes hit true. The elites fell one by one. But then, a massive enemy leader stepped forward, towering over them. It slammed Rika aside. She hit the wall, armor cracking. Rika. Evan ran toward her. The creature grabbed Evan by the neck, lifting him off the ground. Rika struggled to rise but her leg buckled. Evan gasped, choking, watching the creature prepare to crush him. The bond mark burned, white hot. A spark of instinct shot through him. The creature's shadow revealed its weak point. Back of the neck, a glowing node. Evan raised his hand toward Rika desperately. Now, behind its neck, Rika roared and launched herself into the air, blade slicing clean through the creature's node. It collapsed instantly, dropping Evan. He fell into Rika's arms. She caught him with a grip. T was both strong and unexpectedly careful. Her breathing was heavy, her face close to his. "Do not scare me like that again," she whispered. Evan stared at her. "You were scared?" She didn't answer. Her eyes said enough. After the battle, the ship slowly returned to normal as the enemies retreated. Soldiers arrived, shocked to see the carnage and the two of them standing over the fallen enemy leader. Elder Vraxia entered soon after. "It is clear now," he said. "The relic chose correctly. Together, you can survive dangers no warrior could face alone." Rika glared at the elder. "And what of the mate bond?" The chamber went quiet. Vraxia spoke slowly. "The relic did not only bond your lives. It bonded your futures. Whether you accept it or not is your choice. But the bond will remain." Rika looked at Evan. For the first time, her expression was not angry, not fearful, but thoughtful. She stepped closer, standing tall and proud before the soldiers. Her voice carried through the hall. "The bond is real, and I accept it." She placed a hand on Evan's shoulder. "He is chosen. He is my partner, my mate." The soldiers bowed their heads automatically. Evan felt like his heart would burst. Rika whispered to him, softer than before, "From now on, human, you stand with me." Evan smiled. "I'm not going anywhere." Their bond marks glowed in the same rhythm, steady, strong, connected. And somewhere deep in the relic ruins far below, another ancient symbol lit up, as if the story of their bond was only just beginning.